Hi everyone, my name's Leslie Webble. I've been a product manager for 3 years and I've worked in my own startup for two. In this video, I'm going to go over a demo in the beginning and then I will show you how to make it from scratch. You can get the code below in a GitHub link and follow my blog posts below for the code also and some descriptions that I'm working on updating at this moment. So I just want to say thank you for your support and for the past few years. Um, Enjoy the video. All right, so now I'm going to show you the demo for how to use Mistrial AI and Python in the Flask app here. So here I'm importing my Mistrial API key. I won't show it to you, but your key will be passed here, and then your key will be used down in this client. And then if you want to edit the prompt you're passing in, you can pass it in here. So the way it works is that we will get our Python server started. So app.py, sorry, Flask app server started. And then we will be reading this PDF in, extracting its text, and then putting that into a Excel file. So this is going to take a minute because it takes a lot of time to extract text from the PDF and then pass it to the Mistrial API. And there's more efficient ways to do that, of course, if you look into their documentation and any examples online. So if it's saved the file, let's see if it worked correctly. It sort of worked correctly, and this is what I mean about LLMs being generative. They don't give you the result. Obviously, 1,830 is not a year. So, we can rerun this and hopefully it will give us the correct response. But my expected result is something like this. Now I'm going to show you how to create this from scratch. First thing I'm going to do is create an env file. This is where your secret key will be stored, and we will create the Mistrial API key to pass to the Flask app. So Mistrial_API key. Then we're going to put the key right in there. So let's go get it. Now we'll go to Mistrial.ai. We're going to try the API out. Then on the left-hand side, once you make an account, you're going to need to log in, give your phone number, and then you'll be able to access the account. Then you click the API keys on the left, and then we're going to generate a new API key, test or video API key. Create a new API key. I'm going to copy the key here, and then I am going to paste it here. Now don't worry, this API key will be deleted after the video is recorded, so there would be no leakage. Now the next step is we're going to open up our terminal, and we are going to start making our virtual environment. So we're going to use Python to use the Mistrial API key. So we're going to do python-n bnn. This is a virtual environment. If you don't know how to make a virtual environment, check out my other video. I'll leave a link in the description. All right, perfect. So now we are going to do source. Sorry, if you're in a MacBook, you're going to do source, right? ben/bin/activate. But it's different on Windows, right? So it's going to actually be ben/scripts. Oh, sorry, ben/scripts. Then activate. I'm just hitting tab to autofill, so it'd be ./env, and then we are in the virtual environment there. Perfect. So now let's open up and make a basic Flask app. So not in that folder, but on the outside here. So we're going to do app.py. Then we're going to import OS. We're going to need this later. We're going to do .env, import load underscore .env. We're going to have to install some of these libraries here, and then Flask import Flask. And then we're just going to autofill the rest of that out. And then we're going to need from Mistrial AI import Mistrial. Perfect. And then what we're going to need is load underscore .env. So what this does, it's going to read our env file here and then pass that as an object. Now let's initialize the app. So when you do app equals Flask, we're asking the Flask object and this this method to initiate our app object, right? So this is some code out of Flask, and we're going to create our app. Then we are going to make our route app.route, and we're just going to call it upload to LLM methods equal, yeah, it's going to just be post. And then on the next line, we're going to do a function definition upload here. That's fine. And then we're going to do a return hello world just to make sure that it's working correctly. So I know this is not going to work when I run Python because we have no libraries installed. Then we're going to install some libraries. Okay. Oh, typo. Pip install Flask. I do that. All right. So it's going to get all the libraries Flask needs to run a Flask app server. All right. And then we're going to do pip install Mistrial AI. Oh, and I also want to include this at the bottom here. If name equals main here, then oops, don't want that. App.run host equals 000 and port 5000, and then we'll just do a debug true there. Awesome. Sorry, this is what you fully need for the Flask app here. All right, and then I think we installed everything. We're going to give it a run, see if it works. Nope, we did not install python.env. Clear. And let's give that a run. Must start with the slash. Am I forgetting the slash? Yep, sure did. That's okay. Let's try that again. Perfect. So now the app is running. All right. All right, now we need to make sure that this endpoint is working. So first thing I'm going to do is create a test script. It's a script that's going to hit the API, or the endpoint, I should say. It's not really an API. And then we are going to go ahead and import this code. And I'm going to explain what this code does. So import request is a library that you pip install. And then here, you're going to be hitting the local host. That is this API address, IP address right here. And we're going to trigger hello world returned it from our endpoint. So it's sort of saying there's a server here and our script runs and it's going to hit the server and then we're going to see hello world. All right, so now let's give this test script a try. Hello world 200. If it's not working, make sure that you're not having another Flask app running in the background if you get 4 or 4, because if this doesn't exist, right? Let's see if, I don't even know if it would work. So if I deleted the endpoint, you get 4 or 4. It's saying it doesn't exist when I delete it. So just make sure that you have your endpoints named correctly and that everything matches up. All right, so let's move on to the next step. So here, accept Sorry, accept block here. Exception as E, app logger, exception, load failed, and return JSON. All right, so this will just tell us that this try statement has completely failed, and if this whatever we did fails, it will return 500. Now inside of this try block, we need to type in if file in request dot file here PDF under bytes equals request dot files dot read. I want it there, I want it outside. And then we're going to do else here. Okay, so we're going to try to bring the bytes out of it first, and then we're going to do data equals request get JSON. We're going to do force true, and we're going to say base 64 string. Going to get data out of it, get file, so it's going to check the file again like earlier, or data.get 64 like that. And if it's not, if it doesn't exist, return no file provided. And then finally, we are going to do PDF underscore bytes equals base 64 decoded. Pass that string in. And then finally, we are going to extract the text from the PDF here. So we're going to do PDF underscore bytes equals extract PDF underscore text PDF bytes. So there we go. So no matter what happens here, we will get base 64 the bytes out of it, and then we're going to create a function later to process that. Now after that, we are going to build our prompt. So you just do prompt equals, and then you can do parentheses, and then you can structure your prompt like this a little bit. Hello world. Do next item, and then what you can actually do is just pass your object. So I had sorry, this is the typo over here. This is supposed to be document underscore text. So we're going to pass the document underscore text to the prompt. So I already wrote the prompt out, so I'm going to just copy that over here, just to make things a little quicker so we're not typing here all day. But you can get the code in the link below. So now, once you've created the prompt, we need to pass the prompt to Mistral. So what we're going to do is client equals Mistral object. So it's going to create a client instance for us. And then we're going to pass in our Mistral key here. And then we're going to do chat equals client dot chat dot complete. And then let's do model equals Mistral dot large dot latest. And then we can do messages. There's a lot more we can do here that you can investigate, like roles and developing agents. So different roles mean like different agents. But what really matters here to get you started is passing the prompt to the Mistral API here, there, kind of SDK. And then finally, we are going to get the response. So I need raw CV equals chat dot choices. I'm going to go with the first choice dot message dot content. When you chat with LLM, it will give you several different responses, and this is just selecting the first response. So now we're going to need to clean this response, right? And we're going to make a function called clean CVS response. And this will be a function I will write at the end here. Perfect. And then we are going to need to put our results in a data frame here. d.read CVS. All right, perfect. And then string IO clean here. And then I'm going to do names equal. So I'm defining the headers in the pandas data frame here. Invention. Actually, wait, this is, yeah, we're going to need to import pandas. So let's go back up here and import pandas. Or pandas as PD. And then we are going to need something called pi PDF to read the PDF. So that's good. Perfect. So let's kind of just take this from my script to save us some time. All right, and then also we're going to need string.io too. So we need to go back to here, import IO, import bytes and string IO. All right. Oh, it's a typo. Sorry about that. It's from IO import. And then I think that's good. We're going to need to install a bunch of stuff there. All right, let's get to the end of this here. So now we need to, now that we cleaned up the response, we need to return it. So we need to save it somehow. Usually you would just stick it into a database, but here we will just save it locally with pandas Excel writer .to Excel here. So perfect. And then we want to report success. Report success. So what we're going to do is return JSONify. There we go. That's perfect. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, that's right. I did not tab this appropriately. And that's why it's complaining, and I'm going to get return. Get rid of that return statement. Expected expression. That looks right. All right, let's try to run it here. Syntax. Oh, yeah, no wonder why it's not tabbed. Duh. Yeah, that's not tabbed either. It's not tabbed. Tab that. All right, that should be all fixed. And make sure you have pandas installed. Okay, all right, that's installed. Now let's run Python. Perfect. So now it's running. And what that means is that we can start passing documents to this, but we need to add in these functions. Earlier, I mentioned that we need to extract text out of the PDF, and we also need to clean the response we get back from Mistral, right? So we're just going to kind of create these functions really quick at the top here. Going to just add in, I wrote them out already, so we're just going to paste these in really quick. And they should just be able to work. They're just outside of the route. So whenever something runs here, it will call these. What these do is that it uses PDF reader. It's just a Python library that's letting you read and process PDFs automatically. Like, it's pretty cool. It's a big library, and it's used by a lot of people, and you can just extract text pretty quickly and pass it to LM. Then this just cleans up our response. So if there's any bad responses we get, we can clean that up. And this is what I'm talking about. If you don't get the expected response that you wanted, you need to create an example of what you want, and also edit and also like clean up the response and kind of detect like, hey, this didn't work this time, things like that. So just a lot of kind of, I think, guardrails that someone could implement to make it a lot better. All right, so now let's create a script to test this out. Let's go back to our test script, and we're going to just replace this code with this. All right, I'm going to walk you through what this does really quick. So here, request is what allows us to make a request and send it to the backend or API. Base64 is what lets us convert the PDF file to 64. And then the operating system just lets us read the file path automatically. So I'm going to copy the file path. So I downloaded this PDF. I'm going to ask Mistral to process it. And I just need to update the path here. There we go. And then we are going to run this function that reads the PDF and then sends it off to the URL. I need to correct the endpoint here because the repo and the endpoints are slightly different. All right, so there we go. So now let's test the script out and see the response. Internal server error. No module. All right, so we need to pip install swell writer. Okay. All right, so we finished this part. I made a mistake earlier. You caught it. This was CSV, excuse me. And when you do that, and I tried to read some data, Excel writer really doesn't write that to that. It doesn't bother doing that. It expects it as, so let's look at the error that I got. All right, so the error I got here, you can see it's saying invalid extension for engine. And what this means is that if you made your extension CSV, it's supposed to be XLSX, which is the Excel format that it actually expects. So now let's try to run this again. See what results we got. There we go. So we finally passed the PDF to the LLM. We extracted text out of the PDF, and then decided to we passed it, said, hey, look at year, the invention, fact, and then the value. Really wouldn't call this an invention at all, but I do consider these kind of facts, I guess, and then some values associated with that. So I think, with some creativity and with some obviously improvements, you can kind of develop some really cool features with the LLMs and using them commercially for this purpose. So I hope this video was helpful. I just want to say, if you like this more, please subscribe, and comments are really motivating for me. So yeah, you can check out my website below, give it a like. I think I have some more content that I want to kind of work with and build on in the future, hopefully. So, yep, thank you.